Hey guys, it's Kyle with White Collar Wisdom, and today I'm going to be reviewing the book Extreme Productivity by Robert Pozen. Now the book's broken up into 5 really easy to follow parts. I'm going to cover those with you today, and I'm going to give you a bonus tip that you can implement right away to get some productivity of your own. So without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so our big takeaway actually comes from part 1, which I thought was great because it really set the tone for the book. It was like immediately awesome information and it carried through all to the end. So here it is. Part 1, 3 big ideas. Set and prioritize your goals. Focus on the final product. Don't sweat the small stuff. Now our main takeaway comes from that very first thing, set and prioritize your goals. Let me show you what this looks like on paper. So first you take all the activities that you have to do in a day. And then what you want to do is take all the things that you want to get done to accomplish your goals, whether they be personal goals, career goals, whatever it may be. And then we rank them in order of importance. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put down on paper how much time we are spending on those right now. So that might look like this. What this exercise really shows us is where you're currently spending your time versus where we should be spending our time. And it's really easy to take a look at something like this on paper and say, oh, you know what? I'm spending 5 hours a week on this activity here and it gets me nowhere. Meanwhile, this really big career goal that I have here, which is super important to me, I'm only spending an hour a week on. So let's flip-flop that time management here a little bit and spend more time on what matters. Part 2, productivity every day. So this part of the book has to do with how we manage our schedule. A big thing that it advises against is scheduling your day out back to back to back, especially when it comes to meetings. What happens is we go into a meeting, we spend an hour in there, we get a lot of data. If we immediately go into another hour-long meeting, we're going to get more data, and then the same thing keeps happening throughout the day. What are the chances you really remembered all the data from the first one? Now, the alternative and the proposed solution to this is block yourself some time between those meetings. Give your mind time to digest and process that information before you go adding more stuff to that RAM instead of the hard drive. And the next little mini tip is to make sure that we don't just go into the meeting with our talking points, but we also go in knowing what information we need to get from the meeting. So have that listed out as well, not just your talking points. Inevitably, meetings will lead to us going off on a tangent or going down some rabbit hole that we don't need to go to. And it's not all the time, but sometimes. And we end up, the hour's up, okay, see you guys later. And we didn't get any of the information we needed. So make sure that we have those points listed out. And then the follow-up to that is going to be go into your Outlook or whatever calendar software you use. I prefer Outlook, but go into your Outlook after the fact and list out those notes of the information that you got from that meeting. That way, if you ever need to recall that, you can go right back to it. And at the end of the day, if you did have a lot of information come in at you that day, you can go back to those things and review it, and that way it's fresh in your head. Part 3, developing personal skills. So I couldn't possibly go into detail in this section, but I will tell you that in this section it covers reading, writing, and speaking. And yes, it will teach you how to read better. Yes, it will teach you how to write better and more effectively to communicate your message. And of course, to help overcome some of the fears people have of public speaking and to deliver the message better. Part 4, managing up and down. So it seems like there's countless resources on how to be a better manager, how to be a better leader of people, but there aren't nearly as many resources that have to do with how to manage up the chain of command, how to manage your boss, if you will. And this book gives you sort of tips on both of them. I think that really what it all boils down to is communication, and that's going to help everybody along the way. So within that, there's going to be planning and expectations, right? Here's the overall plan. Here's how we get from where we are to where we need to be. And here's my expectations for time frame. Here's my expectations of what portion you're going to get done. And then, of course, when things go wrong, communication. Let people involved know that something's not going according to plan, but bring solutions when you do that. So that's kind of the key here, communication, up and down. Part 5, pursuing a productive life. Now, this is going to talk about one of the most important things, I think, which is work-life balance, but also career marketability. Now, it's true, if you're a high-performing individual or if you're a high-performing leader, you're always going to have that sort of marketability and you're always going to be able to excel. But the whole point about that work-life balance thing, that's going to be the thing that determines whether or not you can continue to excel. Because if you're all work and no play, you're going to burn out over time. And if you're all play and no work, you're not going to go anywhere. So it's all about finding that balance that works for you. And of course, the company and organization that you're with, so that everybody can sort of achieve what they need out of the situation. Anyway, I highly recommend this book. Definitely one of the better ones I've read in a while. So please be sure to check it out. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks again for watching White Collar Wisdom.